When the first generation of mobile cellular phones introduced for the first time in 1980s, it was a great advance in technology for people to make a phone call while they were moving, even with the very limited features that provided at that time, like analog communication and voice transmission, no security, lot of noise and signal distortion during the phone calls, huge mobile size. Technologies kept advances since then, almost one generation every single decade. So, the second generation were introduced in the 1990s, came with lot of enhancements like digital communication, SMS messages, high voice quality, less noise, enhanced security, and smaller mobile size. Then 3G introduced after that, which brought the limited data transmission speed over mobile phone. Moreover, the latest generation was 4G or LTE that brought to us the high data rate transmission speed that we are enjoying now. To use the internet with lot of application and web browsing, which require high-speed data transmission through our smartphones. However, 4G led to new challenges that almost all the people now are using smartphone heavily. So, 4G almost is about to reach to its maximum capacity and may face slowdown in performance and speed. Due to this issue, the latest generation 5G introduced. Implementation already started for the 2020 decade in some countries, like China, South Korea, USA. While it's still under development in many other countries, 5G now promising tremendous rapid transmission speed. 5G considered a new technology revolution, triggering the fourth industrial revolution rather than only a faster technology for the mobile phones. As we used to know, the G always related to better new phone with higher speed. 5G provide huge services and application that is coming along with this technology, which may go beyond using the phones. Actually, even the smartphones may disappear later on with the 5G technology. 5G in simple provides tremendous and huge backbone for our infrastructure for many advanced applications that require high-speed data and very fast response time, or low latency, which was not possible to apply and run on the previous technologies. 5G promises to bring the future now, providing huge pipe to pass all the required data transmission for almost all of the future applications in different sectors. Due to the huge speed that it's providing over the 4G and the very low latency and response time, the theoretical speed may reach up to 10 gigabit per second for single user or single office, making a movie to download in 6 seconds in 5G, which was taking 6 minutes to download in 4G. Just to compare the 5G and 4G capabilities, 4G is currently able to connect 10,000 devices per square mile, while 5G will connect easily 3 million devices per square mile. Wow, huge difference. For sure this number will not be to connect only smartphones. It is a life-changing technology. Yes, indeed, a complete life-changing. This is why 5G is a technology revolution. 5G will increase the existing wireless capacity 1,000 times, connecting 7 billion people, 7 trillion things or devices, saving 90% energy of existing stations' energy consumption, and provide zero downtime and zero latency. Almost everything around us will be different, smart and connected to the 5G network. Cars will be talking to each other and drive autonomously without driver. They will also talk to the street and may remove even the traffic lights to reach the goal of vehicle to everything, V2X. Homes will also be connected to the 5G and connected to their owners. Do a lot of smart activities like the garage door will be open automatically for you when you reach home. Lights and AC will be on as you programmed your scene before without the need for you to interfere or even pressing single button. Everything will be automated. 5G will support strongly both augmented reality and virtual reality. So, it will be very normal to you to see one of the famous chefs standing beside you at the kitchen, showing you how to cook one of his best delicious meals. Alternatively, you can attend a football game live, like you are sitting at the Anfield or Camp Nou stadiums. In addition to the smart industrial applications and many other applications. The rollout of 5G will provide benefits in three major areas, also known as the 5G triangle. URLLC, ultra-reliable low-latency communication use cases. This will reduce the latency to 1 millisecond, which enables real-time application to run over the 5G network. MMTC, massive machine type communication, IoT use cases. Increased number of devices and sensors connected to the network. The third one is the EMBB, enhanced mobile broadband, high-speed use cases. This will increase the transmission speed. In order to achieve all of these capabilities, multiple new technologies developed and consolidated to make the 5G possible. There are 6 main new technologies came out to be the ground base of the 5G. These are millimeter waves, small cells, massive MIMO, beamforming, full duplex, mobile edge computing. What is millimeter waves? All devices using the wireless communication nowadays are using some part of the frequency spectrum based on specific international standard radio frequency allocated for each service and device. In order to avoid signal collisions and frequency interference, 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, Wi-Fi, AM radio, FM radio, all these devices and services are working within the range of the below of 6 GHz. These frequencies now became almost full due to the tremendous number of devices and smartphones connected in the last few years. So, if we continue expanding the number of devices that are using these frequencies, the whole telecommunication networks will slow down and face poor performance, huge interference, and low quality of service. So, the solution of this issue came through using a new part of the radio frequency spectrum, which was never been used before for these type of applications. This part falls between 1 to 10 millimeter wave, which is equal to 30 to 300 GHz. There are also other benefits from using this part of the spectrum, which is that it can increase the transmission speed, bitrate, up to 500 to 1000 times of the current 4G LTE speed, and may reach up to 10 gigabit per second. However, the maximum number of frequency channels that can be allocated for a user in LTE is 5 channels only, or 5 aggregated channels, each one with 20 MHz, while the 5G can provide up to 8 channels, each one with 100 MHz size, due to using the millimeter wave, which has more capacity to provide with a total of 800 MHz bandwidth for each mobile. This 800 MHz bandwidth will provide 1 to 10 gigabit per second transmission speed. So, using the current frequency ranges used below 3 GHz, we cannot achieve the 800 MHz bandwidth. That's why we need to use the millimeter wave, which can provide multiple channels, each one with 100 MHz. Despite of all the additional features that it provides, the millimeter wave has a major challenging drawback, which is the millimeter wave base station should have the line of sight with each device in order to deliver the data to it, and cannot travel well through any obstacles like trees, buildings, and tend to be observed by plants and rain. These challenges make the coverage area for each base station less than 300 meters for each one. So, this issue leads us to the second technology, which is small cell network. To solve this problem, nowadays the current telecommunication networks of 4G and other Gs depend on the concept of building cells with high towers and transmit high power to cover large area at frequency bands less than 6 GHz. But this concept will not be viable for the millimeter wave cells because of the obstacles that may prevent these waves from traveling through them. And if you pass behind a tree or building, you may lose the signal. Small cell concept proposes a solution to install a lot of picocells in different places with distance between each other less than 300 meters with low transmission power. So, if you lose the line of sight with your connected pico station due to passing any obstacle like tree, immediately your connection will be shifted to the other near pico station, which you have line of sight with it. And as you are walking or driving in your car, your smartphone will be automatically shifted from one picocell to the other to keep you connected to the network with very high throughput. Coming now to the third technology, massive MIMO. MIMO stands for Multiple Input, Multiple Output Antennas. The MIMO technology currently used in 4G LTE base station, also using 4x4, 8x8 antennas or more. This means 4 antennas used for transmission and other 4 used for receiving signals from mobile phones to increase the quality of signal to noise ratio, and the transmission throughput or speed, bit per second. In 5G, this number will be increased to maybe 64 by 64 antennas or may pass the 100 by 100 antennas for each pico station, increasing the signal quality and the transmission speed by 1000 times of 4G, which also tremendously increased the cell capacity. This technology seems wonderful and adding so many features, but it also has a huge drawback, which is this huge number of antennas installed next to each other in single cell, then another set of antennas after a few hundred meters in the nearby pico station will cause for sure huge signal interference, as these antennas broadcasting information everywhere at the same time using the same frequency channels. This will cause huge frequency interference, which may lead to network fall down. That's why we will need the fourth technology to solve the signal interference problem in massive MIMO. It is called beamforming. Beamforming looks like laser beam directed to each single user inside the pico station coverage area. It means directing the broadcast signal to each specific mobile that needs to communicate with the network even if both users are sitting next to each other in the same pico station. The pico cell will direct the transmission to each user separately. In the current 4G networks, the base station broadcasts the signal to cover all the complete area. So, all the users in this covered area may receive the same signal, even if it's not related to them. This may cause signal interference, but this interference is still in the acceptable range for the 4G networks due to the limited number of antennas and number of users in each cell. Nevertheless, for 5G network, if hundreds of antennas installed in this same area with a huge number of devices connected to this network using the same transmission technology, then the network may fall down due to the huge signal interference that might happen. That's why a beamforming technology is developed. The next technology is the full duplex. As you may know, to use the walkie-talkie, you have to wait and keep listening for the other person to complete talking, then you can push the button to talk. Because there is only single channel used for both transmit and receive signals. This is called half duplex or reciprocity. The same way is happening in the mobile phone network of different generations. Even in 4G, they are using single channel to transmit and receive data, like a train loaded with data, and there is a second train in the opposite direction on the same track. So, we can pass both trains by dividing this channel into different timing to send and receive, so that we cannot notice the voice disconnection in both ways and avoid the opposite trains from getting crashed. Or, we may use two different frequency channels to send and receive the data and put both trains in different tracks. This is also considered half duplex, as we are using two channels, each one dedicated to transmit in either direction. The full duplex technology proposed for the 5G network in simple means using the same channel in both directions, send and receive from both sides at the same time, by using smart and complicated technology and algorithms to avoid signal collisions. In order to make full duplex technology real, the scientists have developed special silicon transistors to create high-speed switching that halts the backward of these waves. It's kind of like a signaling system that can momentarily reroute the two trains so that they can get past each other without crash. This can happen by phase shifting the received signal frequency at the same time that the other signal transmitted normally. So, signals in both directions can be sent and received at the same time. It is a way to go around reciprocity. This technology lets us use each single channel more efficiently and almost double our speed, as it's a free single channel for each user to be used by another user, or aggregate more data to the same user using two different channels. The last technology which we will discuss today is the mobile edge computing, which utilizes the cloud computing by bringing the cloud computing closer to user. As we know, cloud computing servers nowadays are much far away from users, and to access any service from any cloud, the smartphone has to download the data from the server and do all the processing works, which is very heavy processing and might require high processor power and high memory, plus consume lot of battery power, especially if there are some high quality graphics required like augmented reality or virtual reality. In addition to that, the far distance of the cloud server will cause lot of delay in downloading the data and processing it. Mobile edge computing will bring the cloud computing to the edge, much closer to the user. In this way, major parts of the processing will be done at the network level, and the other parts will be done inside the smartphone. Also, the time delay to download the data will reduce too much. This technology will give a great push to the VR and AR, virtual reality and augmented reality applications, to be spreading tremendously within the 5G network. There are many new technologies are still being developed, as 5G is still didn't reach to the final standard, and lot of researches are still ongoing to add more features to this technology. Hope you liked our video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, please. Thank you very much for watching our video. Don't forget please to subscribe to our channel and like our videos to help us continue producing these videos.